Do a bit of research, take the appropriate supplies with you, have enough water and the right equipment to keep you from having to call us.
Anytime you see Intermountain Life Flight in the sky, chances are they're either flying a patient to a hospital or responding to an emergency. So far in 2021, Intermountain Life Flight has performed more hoist rescues than they did all of last year. Today we spoke to a pilot, paramedic, and flight nurse about what's known as trauma season and why they're so busy right now.
Landing on this helipad at Ogden's McKay-Dee Hospital, a helicopter that puts Intermountain Life Flight in a league of its own.
It's got upwards of 300 feet of cable on there, so we're able to get into pretty remote and rugged terrain with 300 feet of leeway there.
Life Flight is the only civilian air ambulance rescue service in the U.S. with FAA certification to conduct hoist operations with a paramedic lowered to an injured or stranded person.
You can make the difference between someone living and dying in just a matter of time, just because we're able to get them out so much faster.
Getting someone out of a tough situation takes a team.
Essentially, our operators are backseat driving our pilots to let them know where that hoist is and how to appropriately place us on scene.
Life Flight brings a pilot, hoist rescue paramedic, and flight nurse.
I think all the ground personnel, plus the urban fire and rescue personnel, plus this, create a really cohesive rescue organization. But none of those entities by themselves can do all of this alone.
Consistent with emergency response all across the West, 2021 has been an extremely busy year for all of the air rescue transport services in Utah.
Last year was actually a pretty normal year for us, pretty normal numbers for us. It's this year, it's the post-pandemic year or post-pandemic summer that seems like we're really busy. I think more people out in the backcountry is probably one factor.
Backcountry rescues like this one from a lake in the Uintas this past weekend.
We've been busier than normal. Right now we've already exceeded all of our hoist numbers from last year.
Life Flight personnel recommend you be prepared every time you head out to recreate with the essentials. But if something does go wrong, there's a chance this crew might be the one to hoist you back out to safety.
It's just really gratifying to be able to help people with the skill sets that we have in that time of need. And when they're having maybe their worst day, to be able to bring them back to safety, bring them back to their family is ultimately a very gratifying component of this job.
While the Life Flight crew we spoke with says they love the work they do, they would really prefer if people stayed safe and healthy in the great outdoors without their assistance. Besides being prepared before a hike, UTV ride, or a day on the water, one way to avoid needing to be rescued is, of course, knowing your limitations.